If someone walks into your next client meeting and asks, how would you use SAP AI Core for procurement? Can you answer that confidently right now? If the honest answer is no or not sure, you are not alone. Most SAP MM and procurement consultants I speak with are in exactly the same position. Not because they lack capability, but because everything written about SAP AI Core is written for developers, written for people who want to build and code things. This video is not for developers. This is for SAP MM consultants and procurement specialists who understand the domain deeply and want to understand where AI fits into the landscape they already know. SAP is embedding AI across S4HANA, Ariba, and the full procurement stack. Your clients are asking about it, your leadership is evaluating it, and the consultants who understand it at the architecture level, not the code level, are the ones getting the most interesting projects right now. By the end of this video, you will understand what SAP AI Core actually does, how it connects to S4HANA, procurement data you already know, EKP, KO, EKPO, EKBE, what the two most valuable procurement AI use cases look like in practice, and why model governance is the part most projects get wrong. No coding, no system access required, concept and architecture level. So you can have confident conversations in client meetings, internal reviews, and interviews. Here is what we are covering today. Five sections. First, what SAP AI Core actually is in plain terms. Second, the four layer architecture that sits behind every procurement AI use case. Third, the supplier recommendation engine, the highest ROI use case in procurement AI. Fourth, price anomaly detection, where AI identifies cost leakage before a single PO is approved. And fifth, model governance, which is the part most AI projects get completely wrong. Each section is self contained. If you already know some of this, the later sections on use cases and governance are where the real value is. So, what is SAP AI Core? Here is the cleanest way I put it. SAP AI Core is the BTP service for training, deploying, and managing machine learning models at enterprise scale. Think of it as the infrastructure layer. It is not a ready made AI solution you switch on. It is the platform you build procurement AI use cases on top of. It does three things. First, train. You build ML models using your S4 HANA procurement data, supplier scoring models, price intelligence models, demand forecasting models, all trained on EKKO, EKPO, EKBE data that you already work with every day. Second, deploy once a model is trained. AI Core hosts is as an API endpoint. When a procurement event occurs in S4 HANA, a PR is created, a PO is being raised. Integration suite calls that API endpoint in real time and gets an AI recommendation back. And third, manage AI handles model versioning, monitoring, retraining schedules, and access governance. Who can tell which model, which version is in production, when accuracy starts to drift? All that lives in AI core. Now, let me show you the architecture behind every procurement AI use case on SAP BTP. I call it the four layer model. Layer 1 is the data foundation. This is SAP Data Sphere. You take your S/4HANA procurement tables, EKKO for PO headers, EKPO for line items, EKBE for purchase order history, EKET for schedule lines, LFA1 for vendor master, and you harmonize them into governed data product in DataSphere. If you have multiple S/4HANA systems across different regions, DataSphere unifies all of them into one clean AI ready dataset. Layer 2 is feature engineering. This is where you turn raw transaction data into the signals the AI model actually learns from. On time delivery rate calculated from EKBE versus EKET, price consistency score, how much does a vendor's quoted price vary from the actual PO price over time, order fulfillment rate, vendor response time. These are not new concepts for MM consultants. They are KPIs you already understand. Layer 3 is the model training itself. This is where SAP AI Core runs. You train a machine learning model, typically gradient boosting or random forest, on 24 months of historical pure data. The model learns which combination of those features predict a reliable vendor versus a problematic one. And layer 4 is integration and surfacing. Integration suite triggers AI core when a PR is created in S4HANA. The model scores vendors in real time. The recommendation surfaces in the standard Fiori PR creation screen. The buyer never leaves their normal workflow. They see a ranked list of recommended vendors with scores. They can follow the recommendation or override. That override data feeds back into the next training cycle. Let us look at the first use case in detail. Supplier recommendation. This is consistently the highest ROI procurement AI use case because it addresses one of the biggest problems in P2P, the buyer choosing the wrong vendor or a vendor that is not on the approved source list. Here is the flow. A buyer creates a purchase requisition in S4HANA. That creation event publishes to SAP Event Mesh. Integration Suite picks it up and calls the AI core scoring endpoint. The model scores all approved vendors from the source list against the material, quantity, delivery location, and urgency. The top three vendors come back ranked with scores and rationale. All of this happens in under 2 seconds. The buyer sees the result in their Fury screen before they have even thought about which vendor to select. Now let me show you what the model actually scores each vendor on. This is where your MM domain knowledge becomes the architecture. On-time delivery rate calculated from EKBE against EKET. What percentage of this vendor's orders were delivered on or before the scheduled date? Price consistency score from EKPO against historical averages. How much does their actual PO price vary from their quoted price over time? Order fulfillment rate, ordered quantity versus delivered quantity, vendor response time, PO to GR interval, and detect or return rate. How frequently are their deliveries returned or rejected? These five factors are weighed by category. For direct materials in manufacturing, on time delivery and fulfillment rate carry the most weight. For indirect spend, price consistency matters most. The weighing is configurable. The business decides the model, not the system. The second major is the price anomaly detection. And this is This one is often even more impactful than supplier recommendation because it directly addresses cost leakage. Without AI, here is what typically happens. A buyer raises a PR, they check the last PO price, it looks about right, the PO gets created and approved, the invoice arrives, finance processes it. 3 months later, someone in procurement analytics notices that one category has been running 15% above benchmark for 2 quarters. By then, the spend has already gone out. With AI Core, you stop the leakage before it happens. The model benchmarks every PR against 24 months of historical data, not just the last PO, but the full distribution. It applies context, category, region, vendor, current market trends. If a price is more than a configured percentage above benchmark, the model flags it to the buyer before PO creation, not after, before. The key thing I want you to understand about this use case, and this is something I always emphasize with clients, the model does not block the PO. It flags the anomaly and lets the buyer decide with full context. The AI is an advisor, not a gatekeeper. That distinction is what makes the difference between a tool buyers trust and a tool they work around. In practice, price anomaly detection typically identifies 4 to 6% of addressable spend as recoverable savings. On a 500 crore procurement budget, that is 20 to 30 crores a year. That is the number that gets a CPO's attention in 5 minutes. Now we get to the section most people skip, and the reason most procurement AI projects fail within 12 months of go live. Model governance. This is not a technical topic. This is a business management topic. First, confidence threshold. Every AI recommendation comes with a confidence score between 0 and 100%. You define a threshold, say 65%. Below that threshold, the model defers to the buyer and surfaces its recommendation as a suggestion rather than a priority. Above it, the recommendation is prominently displayed. This single setting prevents the model from confidently recommending the wrong vendor when it does not have enough data. Second, model monitoring. SAP AI Launchpad tracks model accuracy over time. If a supplier significantly improves their delivery performance, or if a new approved vendor enters the source list, the model's accuracy starts to drift from reality. Monitoring detects that drift before buyers start noticing wrong recommendations. Third, retaining schedule. Models must be retrained on fresh data. For procurement use cases, quarterly retraining on the latest 24 months of S/4HANA transaction data is standard. Without retraining, the model increasingly reflects historical patterns rather than current supplier realities. A vendor who had poor delivery 2 years ago but has significantly improved will still get a low score because the model has not seen the improvement. And fourth, the override feedback loop. This is the most important one. When a buyer overrides an AI recommendation, that override is captured and fed back into the next training cycle. Overrides are not failures, they are models learning signal. They tell the model this recommendation was wrong in this context. An AI model that cannot learn from overrides will not improve over time. I have seen programs where AI core was deployed successfully. The supplier recommendation model was working well at go live, and within 9 months, accuracy had dropped significantly. Not because the technology failed, but nobody owned the model post go live. No retraining, no monitoring, no named model owner. The model just slowly became irrelevant. A model that nobody owns after go live is a model that will fail silently. One more thing before the key takeaways, and this comes up a lot. The question I hear regularly is why not just use Azure, OpenAI, or Claude directly instead of SAP AI Core? Is it a fair question? The honest answer, they solve different problems and they work best together. SAP AI Core is built for structured machine learning use cases, predicting a vendor score, classifying a price anomaly, forecasting demand. These are pattern recognition problems on structured S4 HANA data. Azure OpenAI and other large language models available through SAP Generative AI Hub on BTP are built for language tasks. Summarizing a contract, generating an RFQ, answering a buyer's natural language question about spend. The architecture that works is AI core for structured machine learning decisions, generative AI hub for language tasks, one BTP platform, both capabilities complementary, not competing. Let me close with five things I want you to take away from this video. One, SAP AI Core is infrastructure, not a product. You build you build procurement AI use cases on top of it. Think of it like S4 HANA itself, the platform your functional expertise runs on. 2. Supplier recommendation and price anomaly detection are two highest ROI procurement AI use cases. Both run on the same four-layer architecture. Data in data sphere, featured engineering from your procurement tables, model trained in AI core, result surfaced in Fury. 3. The scoring factors, what you already know as an MM consultant. On time delivery from EKBE, price consistency from EKPO, fulfillment rate, response time, your domain knowledge is the harder half. The technology is learnable. 4. Model governance is not optional. Confidence thresholds, monitoring, quarterly retraining, and override feedback loops are what keep AI accurate over time. This is where most projects fail, and it is a business management responsibility, not a technical one. 5. AI Core and Azure Open AI are not competitors, they are complements. Structured machine language for SAP AI Core, language tasks for generative AI Hub, one platform for both. That is model 3 done. In the next video, model 4, module 4, we cover SAP Dual, natural language access to procurement data, what is what it actually does behind the scenes, and why the shift from navigating SAP screens to asking questions is bigger than most people realize. If you found this useful, subscribe and leave a comment below. Tell me which SAP AI topic you want covered next. I read every comment. See you in the next one.